to expect at a grocery store in the Dominican Republic, specifically San Pedro de Macoris, which is where I'm currently living.
Hello, hola, it's Yonny and Kayla. Hola, hello from the DR of Buffalo.
Alright, so I'm going to try and think back to what it was like when I first got here. The very first time I went to the grocery store, I went to Jumbo. And the elementary principal at my school, she took me there and the power went out. And it's funny because that was the only time I've ever been at a store when the power went out. It only went out for about 15 seconds and then they have generators, so it came back on. But I've been here for almost 2 years now, and that was the only time that the power has ever gone out at the store. But I went with her, which was super helpful because I was very overwhelmed. I didn't know hardly any Spanish. She took me around, she explained what was there. It was really helpful to be with somebody who had been here for many years and not just going by myself. But after that, Mariano and I went together. Now I go by myself, but usually I can't go by myself. I'll get to that later. Walking into the grocery store, being an American, people do stare. Because San Pedro gets Americans. I see Americans every now and then, but it's not a very common place for Americans to be. So I get it, why people stare. They're not expecting to see an American walk through the grocery store. So I get it. And they don't bother me, they don't really say anything, they just kind of stare, and I ignore it now. I don't even pay attention anymore. But there are some things that I've realized this past year. Number one being, things are in Spanish and English. A lot of things are in both. However, some things are not. There have been a couple times when I went to the store and I forgot to look up the Spanish word for certain spices. Spices are almost all in Spanish, and I forgot. Most of them look like their Spanish name. Like in English, they look like the Spanish version, but not all of them do. So that's something that I will look up ahead of time, because Mariano doesn't know the names of spices in English. Like, why would he know that? So those are things I have to look up before I go. And that's pretty much it, because most items I can figure out what they are and I don't need to know the Spanish. Chicken broth. I did not know what chicken broth was. I am surprised at how much English there is here. That was one of the first things I noticed when I got here, was how many things are in English. Because in the United States, everything is pretty much in English, and yes, there are directions in Spanish, but I didn't see Spanish just on a daily basis living in Buffalo, New York. But here, I see English everywhere. My shampoo is in English, but my conditioner is in Spanish. So it's not necessary that you know Spanish. So when I first got here, it was not necessary that I know Spanish in order to get around and order all the food I needed from the grocery store. I was fine not knowing Spanish. Another thing that I need to pay attention to now is the conversion between dollars and Dominican pesos, because I kind of know the general conversions. I've memorized 100 pesos, 200, 400, 500, and 1,000, so I can roughly in my head kind of guess how much something is. Nutella is very expensive, and Nutella is 850 pesos, which in my mind, okay, 850 pesos, I didn't realize that that is kind of a lot in dollars. So I just had to learn some of the conversions, which was helpful when I'm just walking through the store. We also always see people we know at the store, because in San Pedro it is small. So there's 3 main grocery stores. There's Jumbo, Iberia, and Zagul. Jumbo being the most popular, so whenever we go to Jumbo, we always see either a student or a parent, someone that we know, a friend, someone from the school where we work at. We always run into people we know. The one day Mariano and I were at Jumbo and we're standing in line and we're having this intense conversation and we were not happy at all. Our pastor just walks by. He's like, oh, hey guys. So yeah, be prepared for that. Another thing that I've noticed about San Pedro specifically is that things are not always in stock, because they have to get them from very far away. So if you find something that you've been looking for a really long time, get a lot of it. And it depends on certain times of year too. Around Christmas time, for example, there are no apples or bananas in any of the grocery stores, and that's why they have the special food stands that open up all down the street, and they sell apples and bananas at that time, because everyone's buying apples and bananas around Christmas time, I guess. So certain times of year also affect what is available in stock. At the checkout, I've learned that the little lights, you know, the lights that are on the numbers at the checkout, how they have the lanes all numbered like 1 through 10 or whatever, and there's usually lights on the ones that are open. That does not apply here. Random ones have their lights on, random ones have their lights off. You just kind of have to look and see which cashier is available. But at the checkout, you can also recharge minutes on your phone at the checkout. But other than that, the checkout is fairly simple. You don't need to know any Spanish really. They only ask 2 questions, and sometimes they don't even ask the questions at all. Sometimes it's just silence. So sometimes they'll ask you if you have a credit card or if you have cash. That would be tarjeta. They usually ask tarjeta o efectivo. Efectivo is cash. They also ask if you're tax exempt. So that's another question. They'll ask normal. If they say normal, you say yes. If they say the other one, then you say no. And then when you check out at those 3 stores and the little supermarket that's down the street, they have people who put all the groceries in the bags. It's not the cashier. The cashier doesn't usually do that. Normally it's a separate person, and that person you're supposed to tip. However, it depends how much stuff they do for you, and it depends on the store. So that's a different topic. But there's a person who puts everything in the bag for you. If you have a car, they will take it to your car for you if you want them to. If we have a motorcycle, they'll take it outside. They'll push the cart with all the bags outside, because there are giant bags that fit all your groceries. So you'll have all your little bags with all your groceries, like 6 or 7 small bags with groceries. And then they put them in a big giant bag for the motorcycle, which is why I have a hard time going by myself, because it's a lot of stuff to carry. So Mariano usually goes with me. We'll both get on the motorcycle, and then they'll hand us the bags for us. And then I've realized that Zaglul, they're people, the bag boys, I don't know what to call them, they are not allowed to accept tips anymore. So if I am gonna tip them, I have to like discreetly hand them the money like in my hand as I'm like taking the bag, so that nobody sees. And they usually stand so that they can secretly take the tip, and then no one knows that they took the tip. But yeah, that has been my experience at the grocery store. I've been here for almost 2 years now. I've never had any problems at the grocery store. Everyone is super friendly. If I do have a question for people and I start speaking in Spanish, like I'll start saying, okay, tiene canela or something like that, because usually I'm looking for spices, and I'll be speaking in Spanish, and every single time I've done that, they've been like, hold on. I don't speak English. And then they like go get somebody who speaks a little bit of English, and they don't realize that I'm speaking in Spanish. However, people are very, very willing to help. They're super friendly, super nice. They don't seem friendly. People at the grocery store, the workers at the grocery store, they may not seem friendly because they don't like say, hi, good morning, how are you, whatever. But if you ask them any questions, they will help you. They are super helpful. Mariano and I were looking for jeans one day because he didn't have any jeans, and the worker helped us like walk all the way down the aisle and find all the jeans that were in his size so we could look at them. But yeah, there are other teachers at the school where I work that don't speak Spanish, and they've been fine. They go to the grocery store by themselves. They'll take a moto home. You just kind of need to know where you live to tell the motorcycle where to go. But after that, if you've taken a moto once, they'll remember where you live and they'll take you there again. You don't even have to say anything. If you don't speak Spanish, they'll be fine at the grocery store. So yeah, that is kind of what to expect at the grocery store. Again, different cities are going to look totally different. I'm just in San Pedro, but that's all. Peace out.
I'm doing fine. So ease your worried mind. Sit back and close your eyes. Yeah, this land are so very nice. I'm happier than I've ever been.